Everyone, Mr. Bray here with your Unit 8 test review. Man, it's been a while. It got a little hectic there in the middle of the year, and I think the last test, maybe even the last two tests, we didn't do our video review, but it's back. I'm here, ready to go. So excited to share our Unit 8 review with you. And our Unit 8 review is all about this guy, number 32, as they call him, Mr. FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. The whole unit was dedicated to him, and it was a short unit. No quiz on this unit, but just him and his wife Eleanor. Here she is here. And guys, watch this. If you're seeing this now, hopefully you didn't take your test yet. Watch this before your test. It'll help so much. So, without further ado, let's begin. We start off with lesson 1. FDR becomes president, and it was not a great time. We're in the middle of the Depression. Okay? Things are terrible. There's almost 1 out of every 3 people does not have a job. That's scary. Okay? And it all started with the stock market crash. So he becomes president. It is a really tough time. But we learn a lot about FDR. Most importantly, we learned that he was a caring, average, he cared about the average person. And that was thanks to, these important leaders he wanted to be like. He wanted to be like Thomas Jefferson. He wanted to be like Alexander Hamilton. From Jefferson, he wanted to look out for the forgotten man, the everyday man. Okay, they get looked over, and he didn't want that. He wanted everyone in the United States, regardless of how rich or poor you are, to be taken care of. He also thought and believed in a strong federal government. Okay, and this was really important to him. At this time, with the Great Depression, we needed the government to step in. We needed help. And the help would come in the form of the New Deal, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So, number 32, Mr. FDR. All right. Lesson 2 is all about his wife, who had a tragic childhood. By the time she was 10, she had lost her mom, brother, and father. She got shipped off to her grandmoms, who didn't really want her. It wasn't until she was sent to England to a boarding school where she really came into her own. She comes back from boarding school, meets FDR, they get married. Things are great until he contracts polio. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. As we go on, you're going to see that Eleanor Roosevelt was his eyes and ears. FDR couldn't do too much. He couldn't get around, but she could. She was out there helping, being a part of his presidency like no other first lady had ever been before. They had 5 children together, 5 children, they had 5 children together. Okay, and she did so much. She was really the first lady to get out there. She kind of had to with everything that her husband was dealing with. She was singing the national anthem. She was on Sesame Street. She was playing the trumpet in a parade. She was everywhere, and he needed that. He needed someone strong-willed just like her. When we move on to lesson 3, lesson 3 was all about polio. This disease that he had forced him to live in a wheelchair. He's what did we say, 39 years old? He wakes up and he can't move. Like, how scary must that have been? And this is where Eleanor comes in. The greatest team, they're known as, because he couldn't have done all this without her. She was his link to the people. She could go out. We talked about the bonus army and how she went out there. She was the eyes and boots on the ground. So, lessons 4 and 5 solely talked about his plan to end the Depression. And as you see in the middle of the page, it was the New Deal. All these things, and a lot of these things were done in the first 100 days. 2 of the main things: he created Social Security, basically kind of like a pension fund for people who were either unable to work or were too old to work. Okay, and this is a really important thing. It still exists today. He also put people to work. That was part of the New Deal, getting people in the workforce. We had all these people unemployed. We needed to have them have a job. Okay, and here's the New Deal's plan: save our capitalism, change our habits, and make the government very active. Hoover, the president before, wanted the government to stay out of it. He was the exact opposite. He wanted the government to help, and we really needed the government's help at this time. Some more things with the New Deal was jobs, 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 putting people to work. You see these things, planting trees, building parks, fighting fires. These were all part of a public work program. He was getting people to work. And even if it was planting trees or painting murals or writing books, he wanted people to have a job. He wanted people invested in their country. And then we have the Social Security Act, which we talked about, which still exists today. Started with him in 1935, and here we are in 2019, and it's still here. Guys, that's it. You guys, it's a short quiz. It's a short test. The unit's pretty short. You can do it. I believe in you. You guys will do awesome. Take your time, read the questions carefully, and you will be amazing. All right, check out this video first. I hope you're watching this before you take your test, because otherwise it's not going to do much good. All right, thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day. Happy Monday.